Hey guys, what's going on? It's Eli, back with another review video, and that's right, yes, as I teased in the last review, what I'd be reviewing, that would be another film adaptation of the story of Treasure Island from Disney, and yep, that's right. You read the title of what I'm reviewing, and what is to be considered, one of Disney's disastrous films, but I don't think it's that bad, and there are those that do love this. Yes, I am talking about and reviewing Treasure Planet. Yes, Treasure Planet. So, yeah, what can you say about Treasure Planet? Because it's really unfortunate that, this didn't do so good when it came out, and, it was considered to be a big disaster for Disney. But there are those that do enjoy this, like myself, and this alongside with Atlantis the Lost Empire, because it didn't do that good when it came out. Treasure Planet and Atlantis the Lost Empire, they both grew cult followings. So yeah. But alright, so the story. Yeah. In the science fiction rendering of the classic novel, excuse me, Treasure Island, Jim Hawkins, voiced by Joseph Gordon-Levitt, is a rebellious teen seen by the world as a aimless slacker. After he receives a map from a dying pirate, which being Billy Bones, of course, he embarks on an odyssey across the universe to find the legendary Treasure Planet. And if you know the story of Treasure Island so well, because you know the plot, and because Jim, he discovers a map of lost treasure, and embarks on an adventure with a ship full of crew, which would turn out to be pirates, including one crew member who is the cook of the ship, Long John Silver, who, both of them, befriend each other, and it turns out, Long John Silver is also a pirate, but he is the captain, he is the leader of these pirates, and, with all of them arriving to, the island of the lost treasure and so on, yeah. But yeah, this film, I will say this, because fun facts about this film, because this film took years to make, for it being developed, and it was in development hell, basically. And this was a dream project for the directors of Treasure Planet, Ron Clements and John Musker. Yep. They pitched this idea for years to Disney, but they kept getting assigned to a lot of great animated films that we all know and love today, from, say, The Great Mouse Detective, Little Mermaid, Aladdin, and Hercules. And after Hercules, they felt as though that now was the time to do this. And Disney finally let them work on this, and but, I will say this, you kind of have to feel sorry, you gotta feel sorry for the two guys, because this was their passion project, and it would turn out to be a flop. It's really sad, and something like that has happened before. There's no denying it. But because I thought that I do like this, and again, there are a lot of those that do enjoy this. The cast of characters, because, but wait a minute, before I get to the cast of characters, I will say this. This was Disney's third, if I'm correct, third film adaptation they did of Treasure Island. The first being, and we all should remember this, that this was Disney's first, full-length live-action feature film in the 1950s, which being Treasure Island. And then many years later, the Muppets would do their own version of Treasure Island with Muppet Treasure Island. And then, a decade later, Disney would do another adaptation, this time as an animated feature. And the difference to this is, well, it's science fiction. It takes place in space. Pirates in space, yar. It's true, so... All right, so the cast of characters. As mentioned, yeah, Jim Hawkins, voiced by Joseph Gordon-Levitt. And this wasn't his first time, doing a Disney film, as he had previously did that baseball movie, the Angels of the Outfield, if I'm saying that last word right, if I'm correct, and with Christopher Lloyd and Donald Glover, yeah. And then, of course, he would then be the voice of Jiminy Cricket in the live-action Pinocchio film. So, yeah. And then, of course, there's also Jim's mother, Sarah, voiced by Laurie Metcalf, if I'm saying that right, and a friend of the Hawkins family, Dr. Delbert Dobler, voiced by the one and only David Hyde Pierce. I think, yeah, Dr. Delbert was one of my favorite characters in this film. And hey, being voiced by David Hyde Pierce, because David Hyde Pierce being such a great actor, yeah, just, how can you not how can you not enjoy, like, any good actor like David Hyde Pierce or say, I don't know, Robin Williams, like, they would be very enjoyable in a movie if it's not that good. You get my point? Just, yeah. And, fun fact, Laurie and David, they previously did voices in Pixar films, as we all know. Laurie being the voice of Andy's mom in the Toy Story films, and David Hyde Pierce being the voice of Slim the Stick Bug in A Bug's Life. Yeah. And not to mention another A Bug's Life cast member being in Treasure Planet, Michael McShann. He was one of the pirates, Long John Silver's crew. And although technically Long John Silver does not go by Long John, just Silver, doesn't go by Long John, and that's another thing, yeah. Well, okay, I was wrong. Okay, John Silver, I really, does he go by Long John Silver? I forgot, or is it just Silver? Because I think it's just Silver, okay? So, yeah. Silver being voiced by the late Brian Murray, and, because, here's another thing. About Silver, I don't know, Silver would technically be considered a Disney villain, right? But in the end, he's redeemed, especially from, with his relationship with Jim. So, I don't know, probably, it's just say, one of, Captain Barbossa, they kind of get redeemed or something like that. Any, character, I guess, who starts off being a villain and then gets redeemed, I don't know, they're, anti, villains, heroes, if Silver is one of them, so, I don't know. And also, Captain Amelia, the captain of the ship, and who, later on in the film, would, grow an attachment for Delbert, and Captain Amelia being voiced by Emma Thompson. And then Mr. Arrow, because, of course, you gotta have a Mr. Arrow in Something Treasure Island. Mr. Arrow being voiced by Roscoe Lee Brown. It was really unfortunate for Mr. Arrow, because, usually, I guess, Mr. Arrow would survive. Okay, Mr. Arrow in Muppet Treasure Island, he was played by Sam the Eagle. Mr. Arrow was alive, but in Treasure Planet, nope, he got killed off by one of the crew, in which being one of Silver's men, Scroop. I think I got the name right. Scroop being voiced by Michael Wincott, and this lobster alien, he was terrifying. I think he's I see him as one of the main villains, alongside with Silver. And he was the one that basically cut the rope from, Mr. Arrow, as, at one point, they are almost about to go into a black hole, and it's unfortunate for Mr. Arrow. He dies and goes into the black hole. He doesn't survive. Yeah, and also because, the relationship between Silver and Hawkins was pretty good, and like, Silver was starting to become a father to Hawkins, and also a montage of helping Hawkins out with some stuff, like doing the ship chores and helping him how to like tie a knot, like tying the boats. And knowing Hawkins' backstory, we sometimes get flashbacks of him as a child when his father left him. And if I remember, and if I'm correct, like in the story of Treasure Island itself, Hawkins' father was killed, I suppose. I might be right. You guys let me know. Like, obviously, like, Muppet Treasure Island established that Hawkins' father did die at some point. But in this, Treasure Planet, well, Hawkins' dad pretty much abandoned him and his mother/wife. So, and, also, because, another good character in this, like, okay, two characters, almost forgot to mention, Silver's pet, Morph, and Morph was voiced by Dan A. Davis, yeah. And Morph, well, basically, he's this like floating, like, gooey blob, whatever the heck he's supposed to be. Morph can morph into many things, like I saw him I saw him morph into Scroop. Hawkins can morph into any object, like a spoon or a baby rattle, because he does do that at one point. So there's Morph, and even Morph grows an attachment with Jim Hawkins and stays with Jim Hawkins a lot. So then one of the other characters from this, I think he's like my number 2 favorite. Number 1 being Dr. Delbert. Like, he's my favorite character in this. There's Ben, the robot, and Ben being voiced by the one and only Martin Short. And because Martin Short, because I've got it pulled up on IMDb, he's one of the top cast. Like, Ben does not appear in this film until up to 55 minutes. This... I wonder, like, if people would be surprised to know the fact that, that, like, where's the robot? Why haven't we seen Ben yet? Martin Short's character. Well, no, well, he does appear in it, but not up until 55 minutes. So, So, and also, like, the animation, I'll talk about the animation, because the animation was fantastic, but it's not just hand-drawn animation, but it also... it also has CG to it, like obviously, like the ship's being CG, but also Silver, if I'm correct, he marks being the first hand-drawn Disney character to have something CG on him, and that being his cybernetic arm. But also, you have Ben. He was completely CG as well. But the thing is that, when, like, I think it's obvious. They're like, not only is Silver's arm and Ben, like, they're CG, but it's trying to make, like, I guess they were trying to make them look like, to, like, have them belong into the hand-drawn animation, if you get my point. So... And, also, like, there were some touching moments in this, for sure. And especially because, well, as I said, like, as I've been talking about, the relationship between Jim Hawkins and, Silver. And, also, because, like, Hawkins has, like, the map, because, with Hawkins having the map, this, like, it's not a map on a piece of paper, it's a hologram, it's a little ball you activate it, and it's a hologram of the map and the planet with treasure. And of course, Captain Flint being the one that hid the treasure, and we do get a backstory of how that all began. And Tony Jay being the narrator of the opening to the film was pretty cool. It was hijacked by pirates. Oh gosh. Tony Jay, because just, again, he had a fantastic voice, And so, like, of course, the planet is found, and what they don't realize is that, well, Flint knew that eventually somebody would find the treasure, and thus, even like at one point, yeah, Ben knew about Captain Flint. But at one point, if you noticed, like, he has like wires and such, basically Captain Flint kind of like ripped off part of like his memories. And, when Hawkins found that piece, like put it back, that's when Ben remembered and stated that, well, Captain Flint put booby traps. Like, anybody who stepped foot and to the treasure, like, all hell would break loose. Basically, it's true, because that's what happens. Explosions and the treasure disappearing, like, goes down into like a lava pit or something, and two of Silver's crew members get killed. Jeez, that's cruel. Not to mention the defeat of Skrull, because Jim and Ben, they went off to do something on the ship, and at one point Ben accidentally, turns off the gravity and everything's floating, and well, Scroop does get defeated. He goes floating into the atmosphere and into space. So, yeah, that's a cruel death, and also because with a lot of like scenes with Dr. Delbert and Amelia, because their bond grows and their love, and Amelia just like saying to him that he has gorgeous eyes, and it's funny, like Delbert's saying she's gone mad, like but no, she's starting to fall in love with him. So and of course Silver is definitely redeemed. Like, he has a choice, like either like saving the remaining treasure or saving Hawkins, and that's very important. Like, what's more important, an actual person that you've grown a bond with, or just like money and gold? No, it's somebody, it's an actual person. Like, yeah, you get the idea. And of course, yeah, Silver saving him, and they escape. They do get out before the entrance, like the portal to the planet, the planet of treasure, like closes, and everything turns out okay. And Silver, just like say with the story of Treasure Island, Long John Silver escaping, but just going off doing more pirate stuff, even though because he was redeemed by Hawkins, and it's true, because Silver became another father to him, and because man, just really this film, I know that this film tried with emotions, and I think it did. So yeah. And the epilogue, of course, because the restaurant that Jim and his mother worked at, at one point, because it did get burned down because of Silver and his men, and, when Billy Bones, gave the map to Hawkins, well, of course, it got fixed up, and a much better restaurant. Amelia and Dr. Delbert, they're now together, they're married, and they have kids of their own. Yep, because what a way to end that, definitely. And, here's another thing, because this is just like, say, with Atlantis, because both Atlantis, The Lost Empire, and Treasure Planet, Disney was hoping that these two films would become a franchise. Well, we all know that Atlantis, it would get a direct DVD, sequel, and Treasure Planet would have had that, but they didn't. Nor did they get a TV show, and Atlantis was going to have one too, as we all know, but of course, that was put as a directive DVD film, and when I get to that, and fun fact about the sequel to Treasure Planet, in what would have been, for one thing, Hawkins would have had a love interest this time, well, Delbert, he had a love interest in the first one with Amelia, so for Hawkins, he would have had one in the sequel, and the main antagonist for the sequel would have been voiced by Willem Dafoe, named Ironbeard. And interesting enough, because Willem Dafoe was this close to go to the studio and record his lines. As he was making his way, he was told that the movie was canceled right as he was going to the studio. Oh my gosh, geez, I wonder if he had anything to say on that. Did he? I don't know. That's crazy. Imagine that. You get my point. That's crazy. I will admit, I would have liked to see a sequel to Treasure Planet, and I'm sure there are those that would have liked it as well. And Willem Dafoe voicing Ironbeard, and Ironbeard looked pretty cool. There are some sketches and designs for what would have been Treasure Planet 2, and especially one of them being Ironbeard. He looked pretty cool looking, because he is a robot, robotic pirate. His beard opens, and a bit difficult to explain, but he would have looked he looks menacing when looking at those sketches and designs, I will say that. But with all that being said, Treasure Planet, I don't think it's that bad as I've been saying. And it's nice that it grew a cult following. There are many of those like myself who do like this film. And for me, and how do I rate this? Boy, that's a good question. I know, because it's not one of Disney's best films. We all know that. But it's on my mind. What the heck? It's on my mind. I'm giving this, trying to do the fingers, 8 out of 10 stars. 8 out of 10 stars for Treasure Planet. Yes. And what about you guys? What do you think of Treasure Planet? And what did you think of my review? Leave comments and give this review a like as always. So, with that being said, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of Treasure Planet. More reviews coming your way. They're gonna be awesome. Keep looking forward, and I'll see you guys in the next video/review. And stay tuned later tonight, because, of course, reviewing more Marvel films, and once again, back to reviewing something X-Men, and, well, I'll go ahead and say this, Wolverine is back with another movie of his, so stay tuned for that. Take care, and peace out.